Responsibility and authority. It's something that TFM speaks on. It's something I speak on. We all stand here and talk about responsibility and authority. All right. And females have a very hard time grasping this concept. And it's one of the reasons why our country is in such disarray. So I wanted to stand here and look at this clip from Joe Rogan from yesterday, where he sat down with Bill Maher and they had a conversation about universal health care and actually a few other government programs as far as things are concerned. Because when you end up having individuals having the responsibility for your health care, either A, they have to have authority over it, or you have to take responsibility for that program. And a whole country can't take authority over something. A government can take authority over your health and dictate to you what you can and cannot eat, what you can and cannot do, what you are allowed to do with your body, because they're responsible for it. And this is an important conversation to have. So, when it comes down to it, that's the reality of what we're looking at when we talk about universal health care. And that's the scariest part. So let's listen to what my man has to say. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I kind of really like Bill Maher, because he makes a lot of common sense points that a lot of people aren't willing to address. I do think we're having the wrong conversation oftentimes. So let's get to it.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Do you think that Bernie's too left? Do you think he's
for
too
a
left
lot of
for
the
a lot
country?
of people?
Yes.
Do you think that's real?
But the media asks the wrong question.
Yeah.
The media asks, and there's a debate tonight. The media asks the wrong question, which is, what would you do? This is a question that only makes sense if you're running for king. The question should not be, what would you do? The question is, what can you get through? What can you propose that Mitch McConnell will not either block or you can override with votes? Because that's a very different discussion. What Bernie Sanders wants to do, we shouldn't even be talking about, because it's not going to happen.
The free education,
Yes,
paying back student loan debt,
Medicare for all. You know, all these,
Impossible.
Really, I mean, that conversation about the two different sides of government, like about the two different political parties, and I don't want to really put it on that level where you're looking at it and you're going, you know, one side's responsible and one's not, because the Republicans are just as irresponsible as the Democrats are. You know, I mean, it just depends on what you're funding. You can't really say that the Republicans are, you know, I mean, like, you know, the dude holding the purse strings. But on the same point, you have to have somebody say no, because it's not their fucking money. Like, it's our money, and you can't just be spending it and giving it away to people who aren't willing to do anything. It's kind of the deal. Like, it's awful the way our fucking government's set up in that manner, that they literally just give away free shit for votes. Like, it's fucking terrible.
Unless the Republicans self-deport, even if the Democrat wins the election, there's still going to be half the country that's Republican, and half the Congress is going to be Republican. And a lot of Democrats are not for this stuff. You know, when the Democrats took over the House in 2018, it was moderate Democrats who won their elections. It wasn't the far left. So
you get 4 years of spinning your wheel in the mud.
Now, this really depends on where you are. You got individuals who came in like AOC and Ilhan Omar, and these individuals who came into Congress who are super duper leftist, right? You know, they're super progressives. You know, I mean, they're not moderates, but they came in cities, and the individuals out in the sticks who won were actually just moderate Democrats when it really comes down to it. So Bill Maher's about half right on that point.
Well, hoping to get some traction, even if he gets in.
Again, it's what can get through Congress. What can you get a consensus on? What can you make possible? Obama, when he did health care, said, yes, if we were starting from scratch, it would make sense to go for a single-payer system. But we're not starting from scratch. We're starting from a system where most people already have health insurance through their employer. It's a crazy story how that happened. It was World War II, and they couldn't raise wages because that was the law, so they had to find a way to give employers something else, so they gave them health insurance. But that's what we have now. And a lot of people like it or say they like it. I don't think a lot of people like arguing with their insurance company, but they're afraid of something worse. And I don't blame them. You know, if you're going to tell me the government, and I'm a Democrat, but if you're going to tell me the government is going to smoothly handle taking over something that large, I am going to be a little skeptical.
See, this is, Bill Maher used to be a libertarian, right? Legit. And like I think he still identifies as a libertarian when it comes down to it. But he carries a lot of water for the Democrats. And like as I've always told y'all, you know what I mean? Any conservative or libertarian you meet from California, they're basically a fucking communist, which is a weird thing to say, but it's just the damn truth when it really comes down to it. But he's not wrong here. He's not wrong here in any way, shape, or form. The government is fucking terrible at doing anything. They can barely handle roads, bridges, and law enforcement. And even them, like, with things like law enforcement, they are fucking awful. They are terrible at doing, like, they can't handle it in 90% of situations. That's why our fucking inner cities are goddamn war zones and shit. The government is not good at these things. And I'll be honest with you. The reason why the government isn't good at things is because the government, almost everyone who works for the government is all, they're all union workers. And so they can't be fired. So therefore, there is no incentive for them to do a decent fucking job. And that's just the raw truth of the matter when it really comes down to it.
Well, it should be. They don't smoothly handle anything. There's no
Right.
evidence they smoothly handle anything
Right.
other than maybe delivering the news.
Well-
or delivering the mail.
Look, again, as an old school progressive, when you go down the list of things that the progressives have accomplished, especially in my lifetime, I cheer them all. Social Security, well, that wasn't my lifetime, but they improved it in my lifetime. Medicare, Medicaid. These are great programs.
Let's keep this all the way 100. All right. Let's keep this all the way funky when it comes down to it. These programs are hot garbage. Okay. Social Security cost us $1.5 trillion a year. Medicare cost us $1.7 trillion a fucking year. These are not good programs. They're garbage fucking programs. They're fucking awful fucking programs. They cost us entirely too much money, and they're going to bankrupt the country. For what? 18%? 18% decrease in senior poverty? Really? 24% down to 10 or 12%? It's not even, that's like 12% decrease? Really? Honestly? That's what we should be striving for. We should be laying out 1.6 trillion and 1.8 trillion. And that isn't pork barrel waste, my friends. That isn't an individual standing here going, my kid, he has ADHD. No. The vast majority of that shit is old people. That's the reality of where we are. And it's going to bankrupt us, and they're going to keep borrowing fucking money and borrowing against your future grandkids and your kids and their grandkids when it comes down to it. We need to stop this right now and quit bullshitting ourselves about how good these fucking programs are.
I mean, before Social Security, the senior poverty rate was like in the 28% or something, and then it went down below 10. It was a success. But when you look at what the government really, what their big successes have amounted to, it's passing out money that very often they don't have.
Message.
That's what they're really good at.
Message.
Running a giant healthcare system, especially when the politicians who are proposing these systems will not, A, talk enough about, we got to cap the gouging. You can't pass out all this money if you're going to allow people, hospitals, pharmaceutical companies to charge anything they want, when the price of an EpiPen can go up from $12 to $1,200 overnight.
If I can stand here and summon my inner Excel, my inner bottom bitch right now, all right, I'm going to stand here and tell you like this. The problem with that is the government enforcing this patent bullshit. Okay? That's really the issue with that nonsense. Is somebody bought the fucking patent and then they said, supply and demand, motherfucker. You want this? Guess what? We're going to sit here and charge you a ridiculous amount of money for it. Because nobody else is allowed to make it. Not that nobody else can. It's that no other company was allowed. And that's why that shit actually fucking happened. Again, another problem of the goddamn government.
That just can't happen. And also, they don't ask the people to lift a finger to take care of their own health. Nobody's healthcare system is going to work unless you involve people have some skin in the game. You can't not tell the people, look, you can't keep eating as much as you want and as shitty a food as you want and expect us to cover the bill.
Responsibility has to be matched with authority. It's that simple. You can't make somebody responsible for something and not give them authority over that. It's that simple. It's the same reason why marriages and relationships and families don't work anymore. Because the dude has to have authority over that which he is responsible for. Just like if the government has responsibility for your healthcare, they're going to have authority over your body to control your health. It's a basic fucking premise, all right? It's kind of like individuals who stand here and they want Ancapistan, right? People aren't fucking smart enough for that. That's why you have to have government, because people are dumb. It's why democracy doesn't work, all right? You can't have 300 million people voting for anything because you couldn't get 7 people in a room to agree on what toppings to put on a fucking pizza. It's a basic goddamn premise that none of us understand because no one's taught shit because we're all educated in this feminine fucking stupid system.
You just can't.
That is not something that anybody wants to hear, though.
Oh, I know, because I did that editorial. And
I know, I remember that. People got upset at you.
Well, here's the story. People did not. People loved it until James Corden said something.
Oh, that's right. He had that whole... First of all, he did that, and in doing that, made fat jokes. Which I
did not.
Never forget, man. What they don't know, don't show, just don't care about being a menace to South Central while they drink their juice in the hood. That's what it's all about, Trey. The fuck is he talking about?
Sorry, man. I wanted to use that clip. I apologize. But after that, they get into some fucking nonsense about some dumb bullshit ass debate, right? But the reality is that you can't stand here and tell individuals, and especially the fact that 52% of the fucking electorate's women, you know what I mean? And the broads in this society have been told for the past 20 or 30 years that being fat is cool. And I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I fuck fat bitches. That's what I do, right? I'd like a fucking nasty fat chick, and I'm saying, with some greasy ass fried chicken skin and shit. I enjoy that shit. All right, I do. And the reasons why I do is because, you know what? I'm not a fat fuck, and I can control that situation a little bit better, right? Because I'm not interested in having to deal with a regular chick, because then I'm going to have to put her inside of a carpet or chain her to a fucking radiator. That's my mentality. But yo, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope y'all had a little fun. I hope we all learned something. I hope you had, you know what I mean? I hope we all stood here and got on some real shit, you know what I mean? But in the meantime, man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all stay up, y'all wash y'all dicks, and I'll holla at y'all motherfuckers on the flip side. Peace be like one. Later.